One. All right. Welcome everyone to our Belleville cocktail party sponsored by Viraj. Viraj, wave hello. And me.
Hey, Viraj.
There he is. Thank you, Viraj, for all the good recipes you sent around. I have a real cocktail, just so you know. It's, Viraj sent a cocktail recipe and a mocktail recipe. And anyway, I got the real thing. But I learned something when I was quite a bit younger, when I was trying to get the Ottawa Senators, as a team for Ottawa, and then the baby Senators for Belleville. I learned not to drink and think. So while I'm talking, I won't be drinking, but while I'm listening, I might be. All right?
So whatever you want to do.
So welcome to everybody, and we are recording this, and I want to thank everybody for coming on, and it's just, the idea behind this cocktail party was I'm particularly grateful to Belleville, for welcoming myself and my wife, Dawn. Dawn, do you want to wave hi? My wife of 36 years, she's been a really fantastic partner for me, and the most important person in my life for all of those 36 years.
There you go.
What I was hoping to do today is just because, I'll admit it, I've been a bit lonely over the last 15 months, basically confined to my office here by the pandemic. And I had a chance to come to Belleville, I think it was October of last year. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Mayor. Good to see you. We're coming to you in a minute. So I had a chance to come to Belleville last October because Dawn had found a really interesting building called the China Gate Building. Everybody knows, I think, the China Gate Building. And I came down there, I did the building inspection myself, and I thought, what a fantastic historic downtown this was, but that, it had suffered from, really serious neglect. But I really liked the town of Belleville, even before, of course, October of last year, but particularly when I saw the China Gate Building and what it could be. And so on Saturday, we did a building inspection. I'm a civil engineer, so I did it myself. And then Dawn and I put in an offer, I think it was the Sunday, with an irrevocable for Monday at noon. And lo and behold, the lender, I think it was a power of sale, agreed to sell it to us. And ever since then, we have been welcomed by the mayor and by his council, by Mary Jo and the BIA, by Zubin Gillespie. I'm sure everybody on the call knows Zubin. He's been doing fabulous renovations in downtown Belleville, and so many other people, the staff, etc. So it was just an opportunity for me to get everybody together for an hour. Mayor, do you have your cocktail yet? Oh my gosh, that's a good mayor. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'll do a very brief introduction, and I'll just make these slides a little bigger. And Viraj, can you just give me the thumbs up if you can see it okay? All right. So I'm not going to speak for very long, but we have about an hour to spend together. And Viraj is part owner of the Maze Mall, which is right across the street from the China Gate Building, and he and Dale, you can see them there. Wave again, hi, Dale. And Viraj bought the Maze Mall. When did you guys close on that?
April 23rd.
Yeah, so it's like 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, so they're now the proud owner of the Maze Mall, and it's going through a wonderful renovation. You'll see some pictures in a minute. And then that handsome guy on the right of Viraj is me. I'm part owner of the China Gate Building. So Viraj sent these cocktail recipes out. So we've got the Madras cocktail, and as I said, I got the real thing. And then if anybody is a non-drinker, not a problem. There's the mocktail recipe. So I hope everybody starts drinking now. We're going to hear today from the mayor, Mitch Panciuk, for a few minutes. So Mayor, not too long. And then we're going to have a bit of chit chat. So Mary Jo wanted us, after everybody has a say, after the mayor has had his presentation, I want everybody to unmute themselves when they want to say hello or say something or chirp in. And I think all of you know that Zoom has a chat box. And so if you're a bit shy, just put a question or a comment in the chat box. But hopefully after you've quaffed half of your cocktail, you'll no longer be shy. And I show three images on the left-hand side of my screen. One is, I've taught a lot of Americans over the years. They're not shy. I lived in Australia for many years. They're not shy, but Canadians are very reserved. They're like Swedes. You know, I taught in Sweden as well. And to get a Swede to say anything, you pretty much have to torture him or her. So, you know, chirp in today, okay, guys? I mean, it's a cocktail party. So we're going to hear a little bit from the mayor, and then Downtown BIA Executive Director Marijo will speak. And then afterwards, it's Mr. Everything, Mark Turner. Wave a hi, Mark, again. And after that, the brand new owners of the Maze Mall, Dale and Viraj, will speak. And if there's enough time, I'll say something. But at any time, if you want to chirp in, just chirp in through the chat box, and then we'll have a break after each speaker. And you can just unmute yourself and we'll talk. This is a picture. I think I got this picture from Dale. He sent this to me. This is downtown Belleville, circa the 1940s, I think 1948. And Nick Foley is on the call somewhere. I saw his happy face come on here. And he told me that when he was a lad growing up in Belleville, he works at Loyalist College. When he was a lad, his parents would say in the 90s, I think, you know, don't go downtown, it's dangerous. But look, just a few decades earlier, look at what downtown Belleville used to be like. It was obviously the shopping destination. Obviously, lots of people live downtown. And if you look at this picture, this is what a downtown should be: historic, restoration of these historic buildings, and a destination. And I know pretty much everybody, if not everyone on this call, is working towards that. It'll be different than it was in 1948. The stores won't be the same and the activities won't be the same, but there's no reason why it can't be just as exciting in the 2020s, you know, the roaring 20s that I think we're going to have it in the next 8 or 9 years after we get past the pandemic. So this is kind of what we're trying to achieve. And I'm sure, again, everybody knows that, and I think Belleville should be really proud of this, that Maclean's magazine ranked Belleville as the 4th best city to live in Canada. And that's up from almost nowhere just a decade earlier. So I think the mayor, his council, the BIA, and so many others, Zubin Gillespie, as I mentioned earlier, deserve a lot of credit for dragging Belleville forward as they have. Now, I am the founder of the Ottawa Senators, the NHL team. So I'm going to tell, my wife's going to kill me for this, but I'm going to tell one hockey story, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, Mayor. We had our B team, our AHL affiliate in Binghamton in the United States. This is a long time ago now, it's got to be 30 years ago. And I went down to visit, you know, as the founder of the Sens, I wanted to see how the baby Sens were doing. And I went down to visit the Binghamton Senators, and I took a couple of my pals with me and took in a game and whatever. And I stayed in a hotel in Binghamton, and I like to run. And so I get up early in the morning. For those of you who get my emails, you'll know I get up early, and I have since I was a teenager, believe it or not. And so I got up early and I went for a run, and, you know, it was quite chilly. It was the middle of the winter, but it was still doable. And I was running down this hill towards the Chenango River in Binghamton. And I see 4 cars parked. This is very early in the morning, probably, you know, just after dawn, you know, so around 5 in the morning or 5:15 in the morning. And there are 4 cars all parked like within inches of each other. And people were getting out of the middle car to go to the one in 3rd place, and the people in the 3rd place car were going to the one in the 2nd place. And I thought, what the heck is going on? And there I am, just a dumb Canuck running towards these 4 cars next to the river early morning. I'm wondering, what the heck are they doing? Taking things from one car to the next. And if you think about it, when you have 4 vehicles where every second one is aligned with the other one, then the 2 in the middle are trapped. And so obviously it occurred to me finally that this was a drug deal going down. I mean, I'm a naive Canadian, what do I know? It's the only drug deal I've ever actually seen. And I realized that one of those cars had the cash in it, and the other had the drugs in it, and they were exchanging things. And there I am, I'm running down, getting closer and closer, and I'm relatively young then. I think I was 39 or 40. And I thought, oh, you know, they might think that I'm some kind of undercover cop, and they're just going to get out, shoot me, and throw me in the Chenango River. So it took me about another minute or so to realize, well, wait a second, Bruce, you can turn around and go back to the hotel. So I did. And so, Mayor, that's why these senators, the Belleville Senators, are in Belleville today, because of that drug deal. You do not want to put your young developing hockey players who have money and they're young in a place where drug deals are going down a few blocks from the arena. That's not good for a hockey team. So that's why we did what we did. All right, so now enough from me. I'm going to introduce the mayor of Belleville, elected mayor on October 22, 2018, so not that long ago. He served one term as a Belleville Ward City Councilor. He had moved to Belleville in 2001 from Alberta. He is an entrepreneur, so I like him already. He ran a Boston pizza restaurant and sports bar. He's got 3 daughters. He's a graduate of the University of Alberta. And I should tell you, Mitch, I loaned one of my daughters to Alberta. She and her husband and her baby are living in Calgary. Mitch is the past president of Belleville Chamber of Commerce, past chairman and 6-year board member of Quinte Economic Development Commission, former vice president of the Belleville Agricultural Society. And there's so many other accolades that I gave up, and I just couldn't include them all here. So it's my great pleasure to introduce the mayor.
Well, thank you very much, Bruce. And it's my pleasure to be here talking about an issue that we really, really love. And I'm joined with my wife's with me today. And I was running late from a meeting I had this afternoon. And so she was kind enough to make my cocktail for me. So that's the best way. Wow. It really is a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I am always so excited to talk about the future of downtown Belleville. And we're grateful for the part that Bruce, you and Don are playing, as well as your partners. You know, we often say it, but we really do mean that downtown Belleville is truly the heart of our community. I have not found a successful city in the world that does not have a strong and vibrant downtown. We on Belleville City Council are committed to a vibrant downtown sector that is going to become an economic powerhouse for our community. And when I say community, I don't just say downtown or just for Belleville. Downtown Belleville is used by everybody in the entire region, not just Belleville residents. Bruce, I know you've found this, and people who are discovering that Belleville is called the perfect place on the 401. We have a beautiful waterfront on the Bay of Quinte. We've had excellent recognition, as you mentioned, including the Maclean's magazine ranking. We have a wonderful, charming downtown district, and we have historic buildings and endless potential. And so when I talk about the opportunities for downtown Belleville, I talk about the fact that we're at one of these once-in-a-generation crossroads, the crossroads of timing and opportunity that brings regional economic recovery that will literally take off like a rocket ship in our city. I recognize, you know, that in the last campaign, I campaigned on the need to increase rental housing in Belleville, and I also campaigned on an intentional renaissance of the arts, culture, and heritage sectors. And those sectors are important because each of them really improve the quality of life of our residents. I also spoke about in the last election campaign about how downtown Belleville could lead us by being the focus and center for all of this renaissance. Residents agreed, and since then, the city of Belleville has made a number of decisions to support this future. Our plans for downtown are very ambitious, and we're grateful for the vision and investment of people like you, Bruce, and Don, and your partners. It's an exciting time, and this excitement is contagious as we bring in new people and ideas. So I have a couple of slides quickly to go through to help me review of some of what we're doing and what's in store for us. And I know that we're teeing up now on this slide that is part of the Build Belleville Capital Project. And that was an investment, an infrastructure improvements that we made as a city that was required in order for us to be able to support increased density that comes with additional people living downtown. So Build Belleville invested almost $40 million in that activity alone, and allows us to increase the numbers of people who will live and work in downtown Belleville. Go to the next slide, please, Bruce. Thank you. And there's more work of the construction that occurred downtown. Next slide, please. So in terms of downtown improvements, you know, we've done a lot, and you can see some of those capital improvements and what downtown looks like now. Next slide, please. And it started with phase one, and that phase one was to recreate our vision of downtown Belleville and what the urban design would be. We updated our legislative changes to our official plan. and our policies. And we put in place now financial incentives to jumpstart this development in downtown Belleville. We're providing financial incentives for rental housing to further develop loft and condominium opportunities. And we're also helping with accessibility upgrades and fire code retrofitting. Next slide, please.
So, Mayor, do you want to just comment on the facade renovations?
Yeah, do you have a slide on the facade?
Yeah, it's right here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so the facade improvement grants have really worked hard to transform downtown Belleville, and we've got some examples of them, and I think you've got those pictures, Bruce. So here we have 38 and 42 Bridge Street East, the before picture, and then the after picture. Next. You can see what a difference it makes. Can we go to the next slide, please? Also, 233 Front Street, this is the before picture. And then,
wow,
we've got the difference there. If you want to keep going, Bruce. Here is that 302 Front Street, up the street a little bit, and after.
Incredible.
Yeah, keep on going. That's, yeah, and after. And then again after. Amazing, yeah. Yeah, so those are great financial incentives that we've provided. We partner with those property owners to upgrade those buildings, and we're really proud of the fact that we had such uptake after that original Build Belleville investment. You know, when we talk about future investment in downtown, and I think that's what you're very interested in, I describe the future direction as one of endless opportunity. The linchpin is what we call the downtown commons. That's going to allow us to redevelop the waterfront parking lot in front of City Hall. We will add to that a new practical market square and the fully redeveloped Memorial Arena. And after that, we're only held back by the limits of our imagination as we continue to work with investors to make our dreams into a reality. There are not many places that have this untapped potential. That comes because of the timing and the opportunity of today's crossroads that I spoke about before, those crossroads. And we know that this is a great chance, and we're gonna make sure that we take advantage of it in partnership with folks like you. Thanks so much again for the invitation. We look forward to working towards what is in store for all of us. And if anyone has more questions about our financial incentives through the facade program or the rental housing initiatives, or even the downtown Belleville ones that you can stack. So you're not limited by just applying for one of those incentives. You can actually stack them to deal with it. Desta McAdam is the manager of planning for the city of Belleville. She'd be very happy to walk you through what exactly is there, the financial incentives. I can tell you that they were 10 years in overall incentives for the entire housing sector citywide, but also some of those really specific ones in downtown Belleville. So thanks again, and cheers to everybody. And we had a great idea, Bruce.
So Mayor, Christian has a question for you, but before he gets to go, Christian, you're next. I have a question for you, or just a comment really. A dear friend of Don's and mine is an American architect by the name of Eric Kuhn. He was an expatriate living and working in London, England, world famous. Worked on projects all over Canada, the United States, Australia, Dubai. I mean, you name it, he did it. I think he did the Dublin, the Titanic Quarter in Belfast. It was incredible the work he did. And he told me something. He was a little bit like Marshall McLuhan, if people on the call know. I had the opportunity to listen to Marshall McLuhan in the 70s. That's how old I am.
The medium is the message.
The medium is the message. I thought the young mayor wouldn't know that, but he does. And so I had the opportunity to listen to Marshall McLuhan in the 70s live when he was in Montreal. I was at McGill University getting my civil engineering degree. And he would say things like the medium is the message and the global village. We had no idea, Mayor, what he was talking about. All we knew was we were in the presence of a brilliant mind. He saw the internet and the global village before anybody knew, or almost anybody knew. what the heck the internet was. It was incredible. Well, Eric was like that. So I had breakfast with him in London, and there we are at this nice place having breakfast together. And Eric says to me in his inscrutable way, Bruce, did you know that leisure is the new infrastructure? Mm-hmm. Now, I knew that was an important thing, but I had no idea what it meant. And not wanting to appear, completely daft in front of the great man, I just went, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then I was giving a speech in Renfrew County. And there was this little a gas station, a Petro-Canada gas station that had been repurposed for coffee and sandwiches. And the out front where the tanks used to be, where you have the cover, there were some picnic tables. And so you could go there and you get really good coffee and really good sandwiches going in the nice weather that we have 3 days a year. You could sit outside, and enjoy your coffee and sandwiches. And so I'm looking at this huge asphalt parking lot and then this little tiny, coffee and sandwich restaurant in this little area. And I go in and I say to the owner, sir, did you know that leisure is the new infrastructure? At that point, I'm sure he thought a crazy man had just entered his store. And so I said to him, I finally understand. And now he's sure he's talking to a crazy man. And I said, no, what about ripping up some of that asphalt that you have out there and putting in a beach volleyball court or two? And I said, people who play beach volleyball, they might drink more coffee or tea or eat more sandwiches. Leisure is the new infrastructure. And what Eric meant by that is an investment in leisure activities, in entertainment, which is something that you touched on a few minutes ago, Mitch. That pays more dividends in some ways than just another sewer line. We need sewer lines. I'm not saying we don't need that, but Eric had done the work, and he said, in a city like Ottawa or a city like Miami, when you invest or Belleville, when you invest in leisure activities, entertainment activities, the payback for the town, for the city, for the community is the multiplier effect, economic multiplier effect is fantastic. So I just wanted to underline for you just how important that is. And I think everybody's aware that Jamie, I think, sold it, or Jamie Troke, you're on the call here. I think that Royal Bank building next to the China Gate building that Don and I and our partners own went to Liberty Entertainment. Am I right about that, Jamie? You could just give me the thumbs up. And Liberty Entertainment, as you know, is huge in entertainment in Miami and in Toronto, and they came to Belleville. What do you think about that, Mayor?
Well, actually, I was speaking to Nick earlier this week. We were talking about the RBC building and his plans there, and they have an application going before the Committee of Adjustment, and we were making sure that that is going to go smoothly for them. But, very, very bullish on Belleville. It's taken a long time for us to get to where we are now in the sense of people to recognize it. And that's why we literally are going to shoot up like you wouldn't believe from an economic point of view, and there's going to be some outstanding announcements in the next few weeks and months. But you're talking about the leisure and the importance of it, and that's what the important and the focus is of municipal capital investment is going to be on.
Wow.
We've done the road downtown, done the services to allow us to have that intensification. We're now looking at providing incentives to get folks fixing up their buildings, upgrading them, and dealing all those things they need to do, especially the really expensive parts, accessible changes to make it compliant with accessibility legislation. Also, fire code renovations, super, super expensive. But the next level for us is going to be in investing in public spaces, which will bring more people downtown, which will be able to leverage on top of the investment that the private sector is doing. So super excited.
Fantastic. And I have to say today, instead of having beach volleyball, it would be pickleball courts, right, Mayor?
Well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to have pickleball downtown, but certainly we're going to have it in the city. We've got a proposal right now for 8 new courts to go beside our lawn bowling courts to allow for tournaments and folks to come and visit our city. And they will, as all of our visitors do, they make their way downtown. And we're so excited about those opportunities.
Perfect. Kristen, you wanted to ask the mayor a question. Christian, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry. There's a little bit of lag. I'm outside right now. So when it comes to rental housing creation, I've done a lot of research in this area, and I know how complex the problem is. So I was curious to see what specific initiatives the town of Belleville had in order to create new rental housing?
Yeah, so if you take a look, this community improvement plan that we brought forward really is a province-wide leader in the ability to legally provide incentives to builders to construct rental accommodation. And again, those are stackable, meaning that you can apply for multiple programs. Stephen Ashton is on the line. He's our Director of Development. And what I would suggest, if you want to reach out to him, him and Desta could explain to you what programs you would be able to identify. But on the housing side alone, we're prepared to spend $13 million worth of incentives over the next 10 years to get more rental accommodations on the market where we see that we're really having some struggles. And again, those are designed to sort of speed up the process. We've got a lot of inventory coming on the market in the next couple, 3 years already that we've seen starts. Some of them are in the downtown area and some are not, but we cannot keep up with the demand. You know, the challenge for the city of Belleville is going to be, how do we grow with safe, responsible growth? How do we move, how do we bring in all these extra people who want to live in our community without changing our identity? The things that make people fall in love with Belleville, we want to retain those. So we're trying to be very, very deliberate in steps as we move forward. But rental accommodation is probably the first step on that. And again, we've got this amazing new program to legally provide those financial incentives.
Okay, I'll follow up. Thank you.
So Mayor, you know, I did a little bit of work for the National Capital Commission in Ottawa in the 1980s, a long time ago. And they were trying to remake Spark Street Mall, which is a failed pedestrian mall, I'm afraid to say. And I told them that the only way to activate the downtown core of Ottawa was not to just build monolithic office buildings, but to have more people living there. And instead they went out and spent $5.5 million, this in the 80s, but that was real money, on nicer street furniture. Now, what do you think that did for the area?
Well, it brought in a lot of people who used it that they weren't paying customers.
That is probably true, but it certainly didn't do anything for the area, and it's still 40 years later, still a bit of a mess. Listen, if you're too shy, you can always put your hand up. If you know how to use Zoom, you see how I put my hand up on Zoom. If you want to ask a question of the mayor, we have the mayor. He's very generous with his time today, so. If you'd like to ask a question, you can put up your hand or just unmute yourself or put it on the chat box. I think we should recognize a special guest today. Jordan, are those your two sons with you today? Jordan Jones? Jordan, are those your boys? You have to unmute yourself, brother.
Sorry, yeah. Yes, it is.
All right, well, that's great. Just to share with everybody, my oldest daughter, Rachel, and her husband visited us about 10 days ago to announce something very similar. They're expecting their first child, so that was very exciting. Children are a gift.
Congratulations.
So Jordan is our architect for what we're doing with the China Gate, and also I think working with Dale and Viraj on the Maze Mall, and I'm sure many other projects. And he's working with Sandy. I think Sandy's on the call. Sandy, wave hello. And wonderful architects. Even if Sandy is based in Kingston, Jordan is based in Belleville. So if we don't have any other questions for the mayor right now, Mayor, you can drink a little bit more if you would like of your cocktail. And I'm going to introduce, I think Mary Jo is next. So just bear with me. So I hope I don't mess it up. Yes. Mary Jo is the executive director of the Downtown District BIA, and she is just such a special person. I'm not just saying because she's on the call with us. From the first day that we met her, she's made us feel welcome. She's plugged us into the Belleville community, and we're very grateful to her. She is going to be a little further away, and she'll tell you, I'm sure, about that in a moment. But I think we all can say thank you to Mary Jo and the contribution she's made. So Mary Jo, over to you.
Thanks, Bruce. I know that the mayor just went over the future of downtown Belleville. I think the difference between his words and mine are about a little bit more about the people and the BIA members who make up our downtown. So thanks for letting me put this, or putting this together, this cool virtual event, and giving me the opportunity to say a few words. I've chosen to talk about the future of downtown Belleville and what I see as some of the ingredients to its success from a BIA and member perspective. Look where we are today. After 3 years of hard work and millions of dollars of investment, we have a stunning new streetscape in downtown Belleville, certainly the envy of many other small towns in Ontario. We have a strong board of directors who gives staff the freedom to do what we were hired to do. You have professionalism in the office. The outgoing and incoming captain of your ship have professional experience and training in destination tourism and attraction, and are supported by a full-time marketing officer. We have a positive relationship with the local media. We're in control of our story and have started to attract media attention from outside of our community. Kelsey and I have built a strong network of trust with many members in the downtown community. I have full confidence that my successor, Louisa, along with Tiffany, will continue to build authentic relationships with our members and encourage them to be the best that they can be. We have sophisticated outside investors like Bruce and Dawn, who see the opportunities in the historic downtown Belleville and are passionately optimistic about our future. And we have strong collaborative partners. In the past 2 years, the city of Belleville has invested in almost $500,000 of facade improvement in the downtown core, another $200,000 in the downtown district events, and immeasurable support from their staff. The Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board considers the downtown district one of their strongest tourism assets, and the Chamber of Commerce has begun to look at us as partners for citywide events. These relationships are an integral part of the future of the downtown success. If you haven't guessed, I'm not going to be here much longer. For those who don't know me, I've taken a position in Kingston, which is about an hour east of us, as their executive director. So in all honesty, I feel like I'm leaving a bit prematurely. I still have a lot of things that I wanted to execute here. So today I want to pass on some of those things that I was planning on doing. Identify and claim your identity. Who are you as an individual and as a business in the landscape of downtown Belleville? Now that we are through some of the tough stuff, who are we collectively? If downtown Belleville was a person, what would their friends say about them? What are their likes, dislikes, their morals? What excites them? What makes them mad or sad? And what are they really good at? What are their weaknesses? And if we don't know who we are, neither will anybody else. Make this year the year of activation. The last 2 years, the BIA and board have concentrated on rebuilding trust with the membership. 2020, we focused on helping members to develop the tools to succeed, particularly in digital marketing, not only by teaching them, but by modeling what successful marketing looks like. Now it's time to encourage the BIA membership to take ownership of the future of their success and to build a supportive, positive community around them. Collaborate with your neighbor, pedal in the same direction. If every single member took responsibility for their own square footage by making it the best that they could be within their means, the downtown growth will accelerate tenfold before your eyes. Don't wait for your neighbor to do it. Don't wait for the BIA to do it. And don't wait for the city to do it. Simply put, clean your windows, maintain your facades, and sweep the sidewalk every damn day. Never take no for an answer. I learned this from Pylon Paul, the gentleman who pushes a shopping cart around in the downtown with pylons in it and wears a construction vest. The conversation goes like this. You know you can't stay on the sidewalk, Paul. Why? Because we've talked about how it might make people think you're hurt. Why? Well, because if you lay on the sidewalk, it usually means that you're hurt. Why? You get the point. Ask why until there are no whys left. This is where you'll find the best stuff. The downtown district has experienced significant wins in the past number of years. Build on them. I want to leave you with this one thing to think about. If you want to see what success looks like in the downtown district, own these 4 words. It's not about you. It's not about what's convenient for us, what our likes and dislikes are, whether we agree with what our neighbor's doing, what the politicians want, what our history is, or whether it's been tried before and failed. It's about our visitors. It's about what they are attracted to today, what makes them happy today, and what makes them come back for more and bring their friends today. Get to know them intimately. Own these 4 words and success will come quickly here in the district. Thank you for your time.
Wow, that was awesome. It was beautiful. There are little emojis in the reactions. You can do this. You can do this. There's probably some others. You can do this. Come on, guys, help me out here. Find the little reactions. Christian was saying while you were talking, Mary Jo, that he wants you to keep moving east. Once you get to Kingston, just go a little further east, then turn north and stop in Ottawa instead. We'd like to kidnap you and maybe make you the queen of downtown Ottawa, which sure as heck could use some brightening up and cheering up. I mentioned the Spark Street Mall. They still haven't forgiven me, Mary Jo, for suggesting a charity casino for downtown Ottawa. Charity casino. So I'm known as the casino guy from the 1980s, which is not what I said. People don't remember that, right? But we're all going to miss you, and we're going to see what we can do to win you back one way or the other. Okay, executive director to Queen, that's somebody saying that. So does anybody want to chirp in here? You're more than welcome to ask Mary Jo any kind of questions.
Bruce?
Yes, who's that?
Bruce, I think Belleville's loss is Kingston's gain.
Yeah, I know you're in Kingston, you traitor.
Well, but we're also doing a lot of good work up in Belleville too. Jordan is working on the waterfront with the down on Dundas Street and the retirement residence, the Arabella. Yep. As well as some nonprofit housing was finished last year on Sydney Street, the Almost Home, as well as the work you're doing to just rejuvenate the downtown. As you and Mark start peeling off the metal off all those old facades, we're just so thrilled that somebody actually protected those buildings from the ice and the snow for all these years, that we can, there's a renaissance. I think it's kind of emblematic of everything that's going on down in Belleville right now, is what you guys are doing. And it's got all the bones for an absolutely beautiful riverside, lakeside city. And it's going to come back to those, like that bustle and that dynamism of that original black and white photograph you just showed us, with people. And you can't have a downtown without people. And it's going to be just a dynamic, leisurely, shall we say, art-filled place, which is also going to be equal in many ways in terms of the ability to live properly in clean, hygienic surroundings, but also with your healthcare establishment. This is a bit of a shout out for the golf tournament that Jordan and I are helping to sponsor on the 10th of June at Black Bear. To pull together that whole enchilada right now is really, really important. And just as the stars are in alignment for wonderful downtown living, stars are in alignment to make it a fair, more equal, more beautiful environment for everybody, young and old, of every persuasion and generation. So that Jordan's boys are going to grow into a place which is just much different than he probably grew up in. So congratulations to you and Dale and everybody else. And I think Mary Jo for creating that framework to make it happen. The future is really very, very bright. It
is. I think we have to recognize another person on the call again, and that's Jamie Troke. Jamie, yep. Pay attention. Your name is coming up here. Jamie has renovated his building. He was generous and kind. He took me through it when I was new to Belleville, and took Dawn and I through it, and it's absolutely fantastic, the work that he's done. And I did mention Zubin Gillespie earlier on, so people long before Dale and Viraj and I and Dawn and Christian and Brad and everybody else joined the parade, there were other people, including Mark Turner, who were pioneering. I have a question though, not for you, Mary Jo, but for Alan Bender and your bride. Alan, you've just recently relocated, I think, to Belleville from Toronto. Can I ask you why?
Can you hear me? Am I speaking to everybody?
Beautiful.
Okay, good. Well, actually, this is actually Lisa Childs. We are actually from Belleville, way back. We went to what was previously known as Moira Secondary School, and we're returning. We've finished most of our careers, and we're now returning back to Belleville to be part of this this great big thing that's happening. It was very much a part of one of the reasons why we decided to return to Belleville. So there.
And
And
if
actually,
anybody-
this
sorry,
is our day. Today we have actually,
Yeah.
we are officially moving in today.
Wow.
So we're now, yes. So hi Belleville, we're back.
Well, have at least 2 cocktails. Moving is stressful. And,
Oh, I know, yeah,
and
yeah.
for
But we
those
got
of
more
you-
moving to do.
for those of you who don't know Alan, he is a well-known, famous muralist, and he certainly would understand and appreciate your comments, Mayor, about the fact that leisure, entertainment, art, beauty is really, really important to human beings. And I salute you as you return to Belleville, and you'll make a big contribution, Alan. So
Thank you, Bruce.
I believe that. I've seen your work. I'm going to turn now to my friend, Mark Turner, Mr. Everything, I call him. And so Mark, get ready. It'll be your turn in a second. I have the great pleasure of introducing Mark Turner. He is literally Mr. Everything. And in addition to that, he's a good dad. He's a good builder and craftsperson. But much more importantly, he's just a really good person. Like, it just, for the moment I met Mark, I thought, this is a very special person. And he keeps reminding me that I'm older than him. So I have a little bit of an introduction here, Mark. You can see Mark on the left-hand side of the screen. And he's been restoring downtown Belleville for the last 5 years. He's completed 12 buildings, and he's got another 6 to go. So please don't give him any more work for now, because he's got to finish the China Gate and the Maze Ball and some others as well. He built out the Signal Brewery in Corbyville. He apprenticed back in 1971, so you get an idea that he and I share a certain vintage. He licensed as a masonry contractor since 1981. That's a long time now, 40 years. He's had incredible work experience. He's been in Northern Alberta, Northern Ontario. He's worked on solar farms. He even was a paralegal, so watch out, you might get in trouble. And you never know, these paralegals and these lawyers are always armed and dangerous. He's got 2 kids, one of which I know quite well, Jordan, who's also a craftsperson. He is sentenced to downtown Belleville for another 3 years. And so I just wanted to introduce him to the group here. And maybe if you have a few minutes here, Mark, you can talk about some of the work you've done in Belleville.
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. Like I said, I've been down here for 5 years and enjoyed every minute of it increasingly. I've noticed an increase in the level of energy in the streets. I first started when I came in from the brewery, Signal Brewery. Zuman Gillespie brought me in. We worked on his building. Immediately after that, I moved to the Barrett's Office Pro, and what you're looking at on one side is the before. It was painted and had a big square window in there, and the picture on the left is the finished product. We put 2 new windows in similar to the existing 2 on the outside and arches, but what was stunning was the brickwork. We had no idea of what was beneath the paint and what have you. And this is one of the projects, all the projects I'm involved in are supported by the mayor and council and all the people at City Hall that form all the cogs and make things work. I can say that over the years, I've increasingly become part of a community and a family downtown. It's a real pleasure to go to work. I quite often come down 7 days a week. I take my dog for a walk through the downtown and just greet people that I've come to know and interact with, all the shopkeepers, the members of the BIA, the staff at City Hall. It just becomes a one big friendship. This building that you're looking at is 233 Front Street, sponsored by our council and the mayor again, financially in part. We tore the steel off it. It was pretty ugly underneath, as you can see on the left, but what we found inside were the old windows, so I restored those and put them back in. And also the Dominion store sign, I restored it and hung it back up, but that wasn't the original location of the Dominion store. I don't know how that sign made its way to that building, but originally our Dean of Law, local Dean of Law, Paul Russell, told me that the Dominion store was around the corner on Victoria Street where the current or the old courthouse sits now. And I think Mr. Spiegel knocked it down and built the courthouse, but that sign somehow made its way over to 233 and it was upstairs for decades. I think the sign dates back to the 40s, somewhere around there. So that was the picture there is the back of the dollar store. Used to be Giant Tiger. Once again, the city sponsored it. Some time ago, the city sponsored some renderings of all the buildings along the back of Front Street facing the river. And I think it was Thomas Deming, perhaps, or maybe even Greg Pension, who provided me a copy of it. And the finished product you see there, we cleaned it back up considerably. We did some embellishments on the wrought iron railing just to dress it up a bit. But what you see there is exactly what the rendering looked like. And so we followed it to the T, and it cleaned it up significantly. And it's part of I think a plan. The city has looked at the backs and some time ago and realized that the backs are worth cleaning up, dressing up, and turning into space that can be used. This is taken at the 233 Front Street when I was restoring the sign. The sign on the right, you can see, is pretty dirty and dusty and sat for some time. And the letters are wood, and the background is metal with a wood frame. And I believe the sign was made by a local company called Star Signs, I think, which I think it went out of business in the 70s. But I actually talked to a gentleman who had worked there, and he identified the sign. The sign still sits in your building, Bruce, ready to hang somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I'm hoping to find a place we can hang it. What we're looking at now is 248, the Duke La Favorite. That's Aurora Mancuso's building, and you can see on the right it was tired and needed some help. Once again, it's sponsored by the city and the council and what have you financially. And this was a real pleasure to work on. We stripped all the paint off and we straightened some of the sill stones, and the three windows on the left we had to mill to match the three windows on the right, as the three ones on the left were squared off, and none of us on the facade committee or anyone at City Hall wanted to see the squared off windows. They're just not authentic enough. So I had a real pleasure working on that building. The panels up top with the blue, and then the embellishments. Kim Taylor, local artist, helped us with that. And we just had a little bit of fun. We painted the finials gold. So there's gold in the streets, literally. This was Zubin's building. This is the first one. You can see it was in bad shape. And we had to reconstruct a lot of the limestone to get it to a finished state. The sills were badly deteriorated, everything. This is the very first building I did when I came into the downtown Belleville. Zubin conspired a little bit with Richard Cuerrier to get me to come downtown, because I had promised Zubin to work on his building, restore it as soon as I was finished at the brewery. And one day Richard said to me, he says, "Mark, I think you're done here for now," but I think it was all a conspiracy between he and Zubin just to get me downtown. But it all worked out very well. And here's Zubin's other building. This is the old Oconus Jewelers. John retired, and Zubin purchased it from John. John's father had been there as well. So when Zubin took the building over, it was full of anything and everything from about 30, 40, 50 years back. And so we stripped the paint and rebuilt the pediment lintels over the windows. And since that picture was taken, Zubin's got new windows in. I think this is a good example of where Belleville's going. There's a great deal of energy in the streets. Zubin is planning on, I believe, an Airbnb type application in this building. Decks overlooking the river on the back. It's a great addition to the downtown core. This is Zubin's third building, and he does everything top notch and to the highest extreme.
Wow. Now, that's just some of Mark's work, and like when I was introducing the mayor, I couldn't get through all the list of accolades, and same thing with MJ, and same thing with Mark. So can we all do one more toast? Thank you, Mark, for remaking Downtown Belleville. Fantastic job, brother.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
All right, this is the last one. I promised you guys I'll try and get you up, in a few more minutes, and thanks for sticking around. I'm going to introduce two friends of mine, Dale and Viraj from Toronto. Don't hate them because they're from Toronto. They're actually good people. Dale is a tech guy and Viraj is a realtor. They're wonderful people. And I talked to them a few months ago about a model that Dawn and I were talking about, at least a couple of years ago, and it's called Main Street Makeovers. And you know what a makeover is? I could use one. Main Street makeovers are about going into these wonderful historic towns, these small towns in Canada, the United States, and finding these buildings that have really been neglected. You know, when I went into the China Gate building and I saw what had happened to this historic building, almost 150 years of age, I really felt I felt a sense of almost, this is the wrong way to put it, but almost like it was a crime against something. I don't even know how to express it. And when I talked to Dale and Viraj, they said, we might do something like that with our friends from Toronto. We'd be interested in helping remake a downtown core. And I said, well, Dawn and I are doing something with our group in Belleville. Would you be interested? And they said, yeah, sure. And so they came along, and with Mark's help and Jordan Turner's help, they bought the Maze Mall. So over to you, Dale and Viraj.
Great, thanks Bruce. Just want to start out by thanking the mayor for joining us today. Really appreciate your comments. And also to you, Marijo, really thank you for being here as well. Both of you, from the time we've sort of started engaging in Belleville, we've just been met with sort of just openness and welcoming and participation and collaboration and just a spirit of wanting to work together to make something happen. And so we're really appreciative of that and really appreciate both of you being here. Marijo, we really are sad that you're leaving us just as we're coming in, but we really appreciate the welcome you've given us so far, and really look forward to continuing with the BIA going forward. I just want to talk a little, and I also want to just thank there's a number of people here that are part of this investment in different ways. We've got our investors that came together to help fund this project. We've got, of course, the crew, the people that are actually sort of helping to make it happen. The architects are here, graphic designers, mechanical engineering. There's a number of people here on this call today that are part of what we're going to be doing. So really appreciate you being here. And quite frankly, we wouldn't even have dreamt of doing something like this if we didn't have, great support and capability and capacity right on the ground. So that's, by far and away a big part from Mark Turner. And we really appreciate that he's part of this, and we wouldn't really be doing this if we didn't know we could pull it off with local resources and local expertise and local talent contributing to make this happen. I really just wanted to give you a quick sort of dip into kind of what we're thinking, starting with just a view of, some of the stuff that I've dug up about the Maze Mall. Part of what we're envisioning is about understanding where this building came from and really trying to, go back to the spirit of what it was. For most, probably a whole generation of people, or maybe even 2 generations of people, that building was known as a Maze Mall, and we're going to stop calling it that. I think it's time for something new, and we're going to stop calling it Maze Mall. For us, it's 232 Front. The first inspiration really just came from the photo on the right, which is something we found in the archives, and it really just lit a fire under us to say, wow, look at what this could be. Because we really weren't, the facade really threw us off at the beginning. We weren't even really considering that building until, Mark and Bruce really sort of helped us take a second look and a better look at it, and we did that. So really appreciate. I've been digging through the archives over the past few years or the past few weeks, and I found a few things. On the left-hand side, you can still see the original facade and the original building in the 70s. Apparently this photo was taken in 78, but I have another photo on the right, which is also in 1978, which has the facade on it. And we know it's 1978 because the signature is cut off, you can't see it, but also the flag bearer is showing the centennial flag for 1978. And so there's the centennial parade in 1978, and we can see the Maze Mall facade is up. But earlier in the 70s, certainly the original building was still there. And then I dug further back and I found even older photos, and we saw this wonderful photo of a parade participant. She's marching in front of the building when it was the Metropolitan on the left-hand side. And that led me to find another photo from 1930. You can clearly see that, you know, the building is there, the distinguishable windows and the air vents at the top. And it was through that investigation that I uncovered this photo from 1885. Wow. And, you know, that's the earliest photo that I could find of it. And I really tried to reference the neighboring buildings. This is just a zoom in on the actual photo. The photo is quite large, and we put it up on our Facebook page. But I'm pretty sure it's that building. That's our building because of the neighboring buildings beside it that were there and referenced in other photos. So, you know, this building came up in 1885, and you can see in 1885 there's, you know, horse and buggies in front, and look at the crowds of people, and look at the awnings, the striped awnings, and it's just such a wonderful downtown feeling, a spirit of you know, community and commerce and vibrant activity. So we really just take that inspiration into what we want to do. And if we go to the next slide, I think, you know, the first thing we did, and Mark was really just chomping at the bit to do this, as were we, was really just to rip off that steel facade. We did that. We were very happy to see that much of the brickwork was still intact. The windows, of course, need to be replaced, and you know, we've just tidied it up a little bit while we've ordered new windows for the building. We've ordered historic looking and historic replications of these arched windows, and we want to make full use of this beautiful facade in the future. We have obviously some plans for other renovations. The building has, you know, commercial space on the main and lower floors, and it has residential spaces above. So we have plans to address both those areas. And a key part of this is really just sort of rebranding and reinvigorating some life into the building. You know, and that's why we created a tagline and an identity. You know, Mary Jo spoke about that. It's really just talking about building life, and and that has many connotations, the building itself, but also the spirit of what we're trying to do. And we'll put up some branding around the building because we really want to find the right purposes for the building, understand and explore different commercial opportunities. It was really exciting to hear from the mayor and from Mary Jo that you know, there is, you know, we've seen it already, but that there will be this growth in the business community, this growth in the downtown core, and we're going to be doing some marketing around that. One of the things that we've got a lot of feedback on is we threw this concept together about a market, and many people told us that, you know, the downtown core is missing some permanent sort of grocery establishments. And then we see that there's a real opportunity being right on the edge of Prince Edward County to contact those purveyors, those food producers, and really sort of maybe bring together a market concept here. There's wonderful, you know, farmers markets and the regular Belleville market downtown, but of course, you know, people that live downtown need a permanent place to go to. So we're definitely exploring that as a real key, destination, let's call it that, for the downtown, and so we're excited about that. And then the last thing I'll mention too is just in the residential spaces, you know, those beautiful arched windows will make a lovely loft apartment for somebody, either a short-term rental or you know, just contribute to the inventory of rental accommodation that is needed in the city. We just think that, you know, it'd be a wonderful place to live and work possibly as well. So we're just excited about all the opportunities that we're seeing, we're hearing about, we're learning about as we're learning and getting to know the community. So yeah, go ahead.
And the building backs onto the river, so when we reconfigure those residential units, we want to take into that account and create like balconies or terraces that overlook onto the river, which would make it a more desirable living space.
If you haven't been to Belleville, I think most of you on the call probably have been or are there right now, but you know, the river is a really wonderful place. It's a lovely river walk, and it's, you know, it'd be nice to see the businesses turn towards the river instead of away from, which is where the current design is, or the historical kind of design maybe was. We can turn our attention towards the river again, you know, bringing Front Street and the river together. And I think there's huge opportunity to really create something special down there as well. So I just want to share that with you. And you can, you know, we've got a web page, we've got a Facebook page. We're going to try to share updates as much as we can on our Instagram and just keep people posted, getting feedback. I had a lot of wonderful feedback in a few Facebook groups on Belleville, just about the facade coming down, and people were so excited, and so, you know, just lots and lots of support around that. So it really feels like we're doing something good and contributing to something wonderful in Belleville.
Well, Dale and Viraj, thank you. That was really, it was a beautiful presentation by you and a nice way to end up. I'm going to end it now in another 60 seconds. I'm just going to tell everybody on the call that it's been my opinion for a number of decades now. You know, I did my PhD in urban economics at the Australian National University in Canberra. And, you know, I know a little bit about urban design. And I think we were building better cities and towns in 1885 than we are today. In Ottawa, for example, we still build suburbs of 3,000 homes without a single job, without a single store, without any place you could walk to. One of my friends was a counselor, and he had, I think, 11 left turns to get into his house and 11 right turns to get out. There was no grid streets like you see in Belleville and many historic downtowns in Canada, the United States. And he told me it drove him crazy. He would, you know, every time he was driving home, he would count down 11, 10, you know, and then of course when he's leaving, 11 turns to get in and out of his community. And then he was completely isolated from anything. No children could walk anywhere. They had to be driven to everything, to the school, to their recreation activities, whatever, to their friends' homes. So we built better buildings. You can see that in better communities. In 1885, and this group, your job, especially the younger people on the call, you know, the mayor and Jordan and others, it is your job in the next generation to change that. And with all due respect to our zoning codes and our planners and others who mean well, I'm sure, the downtown core of Manhattan could not be built today. The downtown core of Belleville could not be built today under our current zoning codes. And I want to say to the city of Belleville here that I salute them in their new official plan for saying, wait a second, human beings wrote those codes, human beings can change them. And I think that's important. It is a mission that especially the young people on this call must carry forward into the next generation, because it's a shame that when people want to go on holidays, they go to these places to stay in an Airbnb or a downtown hotel and walk around and enjoy the arts and enjoy the entertainment and be able to live and work and shop and socialize and play in one location. We've lost that. And so thank you all for staying. We're a little bit over time, about 8 minutes over time. But I will be posting this to YouTube. It will be public, and if anybody wants a link, they can reach out to me at any time. I know you all have my email address, and if you don't, Mary Jo has it. So one more time, because it is a cocktail party. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks everyone for
Thank
coming
you.
today. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bruce.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.